Hi everybody. There's one more example that I wanted to work through in class today, and let's take a look at that now. So we have two car companies, Alamo and Budget Rent-A-Car, that both have a compact rental available, but they have slightly different price structures. Alamo will charge you $38.99 per day just to get the car, and then they're going to charge you 25 cents for each mile you drive. Budget, on the other hand, will charge you $59.99 per day, and they only charge you 15 cents for each mile you drive. So if you're going to rent this car for 3 days and drive around and get where you need to be, how many miles do you have to put on in order to make the price the same for each company? Now, if you think about it, if you're not going to drive very many miles, you wouldn't mind paying the extra mileage to Alamo because you're getting quite a bit better price per day. If you're going to put on a ton of miles, you'd want the cheaper mileage rate and accept the higher fee each day to pay Budget. So where's our break point? Where is it that the prices are going to be the same regardless of which company you use? Well, the first thing we need to do is define our variables. So let's let C be the cost to rent a car regardless of the company, and of course that'll depend on M, the number of miles that are driven. Then if we go through Alamo, the cost to rent the car is going to be 3 days at $38.99 plus 25 cents for each mile that we're going to put on. Same idea through Budget, but it's 3 days at $59.99 and only 15 cents per mile. Now, there ought to be some number of miles where the cost turns out to be the same. So let's just substitute for C from one equation into the other. That is to say, find out where the costs are equal or where these equations are equal. So our Alamo cost has to equal the Budget cost. And now, since that equation has had C eliminated, we can solve for M. M turns out to be 630 miles at a cost of $274.47. So, if you're going to drive 630 miles, plug 630 in for M, the cost will be $274.47 regardless of which plan you get. Now this problem is kind of interesting because it's a good example of where a graphical interpretation is useful. It's easy to just accept the fact that at 630 miles is the cutoff point. Anything less than that, we should probably go with the cheaper daily charge. But anything more with that, we should go with the cheaper mileage charge. But if we solve this graphically, it really gives a better picture of the situation. Here it is. So through Alamo is the red line. 3 days times $38.99, I've already done that math, but 3 times $38.99 is $116.97. So that's the fee just to get the car for 3 days, plus the 25 cents per mile. The blue line is the Budget's fee structure. 3 times $59.99, that's $179.97 just to get the car, and 15 cents per mile. So you can see that the y-intercept, our starting amount for the blue car, the Budget car, is higher than it is for Alamo. $179 versus about $117. So it's a lot cheaper to get Alamo as long as our number of miles is relatively low. Now as we start tacking on miles, as we start moving along our x-axis here, you can see that the gap, the cost saving, starts to diminish. At 400 miles, it's still cheaper to go with Alamo than Budget. Even at 600 miles, it's still a little bit less expensive to get Alamo than it is to get Budget. But somewhere a little bit over 600 miles, it's a wash. Our cost is going to be somewhere between $250 and $300. It's going to be the same no matter which plan we go with. And beyond that, that lower mileage cost keeps the Budget car a little bit flatter. Anything beyond that break-even point, it'll actually cost us more to have gone with Alamo because we're paying more for those high miles. So our solution was 630 miles at $274. That matches our graph. Our break point here is at about 630 miles and at about $275. So the graph supports our answer, but the graph helps you see that the lower the mileage that you're going to put on, the greater your savings, and that fades away as we get close to our break point.